So, welcome to what my notes tell me is episode 9 of the Scion Hero community. DST is the dumbest thing ever. Sithal, you are not wrong, or Kythel, but you are definitely not wrong. It definitely makes projects like this, where there are people from multiple time zones, it definitely makes them awkward to coordinate. Yes, this is the 9th episode of the Scion Hero season, to season 5 of Behind the Screen. I've done 2 seasons on this channel and 3 on my own channel. This is also the season finale, with the announcement of the Frostlands of Fenrilik being released on Wednesday. More on that in a moment. I am moving over to Scarred Lands in 2 weeks' time for my next episode. This was phasing out in the EU. Hope the UK will join in phasing out. Yeah, that would require the UK to think about anything but itself. Gosh darn it. Not the place for politics. Let's just say that I disagree with the direction the UK is taking and leave it at that. But yes, DST does make everything annoying. Anyway, yes, episode 9, 31 of the entire project overall, which is incredible. I never thought I'd get this far, so truly thank you everyone for your support. Would not be here without the community. I don't work for Onyx Path. I'm not even a freelancer. I have signed no contracts with them. I'm just a fan of the platform, and for that I'm also grateful to Onyx Path. I do experience muscle tics. It is a disability, which can result in muscle spasms of head, neck, shoulders, arms, basically the whole body. Usually not all at the same time, but it can be disquieting to watch, and sometimes, particularly if it affects the muscles of my throat, my jaw, or my tongue, it can result in slurred, stuttered speech. I have a slight stutter anyway, but it just makes everything worse. It can also affect my eyes at some points, but that doesn't really affect the show, so that should be fine. I do also struggle with multiple trains of thought, so I'll try to follow one before jumping onto the other. And by struggle with, I mean if I change tracks mid-thought, I probably won't finish that first thought. So if I'm talking about something and someone asks a question in chat, I'll try and finish what I'm talking about and then get to the thing in chat. If I think what I'm talking about is going to take a while, I'll acknowledge I've seen it and then move on. Or continue on with what I was saying. As I say, this is the last episode. All of these go up a week on my YouTube channel, which is Comrade Bubbles. There's no fancy URL. I'm not popular enough for that, so you'll have to manually search for Comrade Bubbles. All of these episodes, just about the platform and D&D community, would die without these. Sujin, you are 100% correct. I also have a D&D platform in that I do 5e OGL Patreon material, which I'll be talking about more next time, because that's at least 5e adjacent. Yes, I'm only a fan of the platform. Yes, these episodes go up a week after they air on my YouTube channel, purely because Onyx Path Twitch subscribers get a week's exclusivity to the video on demand before the public can watch them on this Twitch channel. So that was something I was happy to agree to with Onyx Path. Was I just put the videos up a week after they air on my own YouTube channel as an archive. If you don't watch things on Twitch, or you just prefer YouTube for whatever reason, you're not missing out on anything. If you are considering subscribing to the channel, you do get emotes, you do get the week's exclusivity to video on demand, and if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link it to your Twitch account for a Prime Gaming account, which once a month gives you once every 30 days gives you a free subscription to a channel. It does not auto renew. You have to remember to auto renew it, but it gives you all of the same benefits as a normal subscription. It gives the channel all of the same benefits as a normal subscription. You just don't pay for it because you've already paid for Amazon Prime. And occasionally there are, like right now, it doesn't really affect Onyx Path in any way, but if you gift subscriptions or cheer bits or anything to the channel, there's a chance that you'll unlock sweet, sweet K-pop emotes, because that's a global thing Twitch are doing at the minute, I believe. Okay, so that's the start of show disclaimer notes. Actual proper show note thingy bobs. I'm professional, you can tell. As always, the best place to go for project updates is the Monday meeting notes. I will generally provide a recap of the Monday meeting notes on this show, but I only stream every 2 weeks, once every 2 weeks, so you'll always have that off week where you won't know what's going on with Onyx Path. But the general what's this? Misclick. The general gist of things is the well, you get sweet art previews for upcoming projects, so that's good. I'm going to put this here so I can see chat. Look at the camera while I'm reading. The Ghost Hunters Kickstarter, which is a system agnostic World of Darkness 20th anniversary book, continues to go pretty strongly. I'll post a link for that in a moment. They've just announced some more stretch goals. There's some links to podcasts discussing it, etc., etc. Frostlands of Fenrilik goes live on the Sluretian Vault, which is the community content site for the Scarred Lands product line, on Wednesday, I believe it is. Frostlands of Fenrilik is a new continent, Fenrilik, the roof of the world. It's an Arctic continent, and it's opening it up for community content creators to add stuff for Fenrilik. I will be doing stuff with a caveat that we'll have to wait for a Word template for me to actually release it, but I will be doing stuff on the show for that. If you are interested in Scarred Lands but don't know anything about it, I'm happy to talk about that, when I start Scarred Lands stuff. It's based on the D&D 5e rule set, so pretty accessible. But just kind of like turned up to 11 and with some extra metal thrown into it, as in the genre, not literally metal. V5 stuff was spoken about with Paradox. So if you like the V5 game lines, gauge to that. Get hyped for that. I do. I'm running a contentious topic, but I'm paid GM for a paid storyteller for a V5 game, so I'm always happy about more V5 resources. What else? Oh, right. I scrolled down far enough to find the Ghost Hunters Kickstarter. Again, I don't know why this happens, but the link for the Kickstarter's never actually included in the Monday meeting notes that I've found. I might just be missing something, but I've never actually found a clickable link for a Kickstarter in the Monday meeting notes. Sorry, I did once. Never again. But that's doing pretty well. It's already funded. You can get the text by backing it at like the lowest level, I think, or just above the lowest tier. If you're interested in reading the text, and then you can decide whether to pull your funding or not. Scrolling further down, there's just the general graphic and the announcement, the schedule for the week. Obviously, we're already on Tuesday, so if you are interested in the Honest Path channel, you've already missed a Scarred Lands actual play and a Contagion Chronicle actual play. But later today, there's a Cult of the Blood Gods actual play, so V5, and more Scarred Lands for Frostlands of Fenrilik. Those are 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I assume that's what EDT stands for. And then there's one game a day for the rest of the week until Saturday, where there is nothing happening, which for a horror-themed role-playing company, I guess it's kind of ironic nothing's happening on Halloween, but there we go. And that does sort of apply. Irony does apply in this instance, because you would expect them to be doing something, but alas, no. Anyway, links to the videos up on the YouTube channel of previous actual plays, more actual plays and interviews, advertisement for the Onyx Dice app. Onyx Dice is a really good app if you don't have much space to roll a huge load of D10. Where is it? On sale this week. There we go. That's what I was looking for. So, Titanomachy, which is incredibly useful for this kind of project. Titanomachy is a source book, supplement, whatever you want to call it, for Scion 2nd edition that adds more Titanomachy themed antagonists. There's really no simpler way of doing it. The title tells you everything you need to know. It's really cool, from what I've been led to believe. I personally haven't had a chance to read it yet. This was a conscious choice on my part, as it involves Kraken. It has a Kraken stat block, and I wanted to do a Kraken for this show, and I didn't want any design bleed. So I did not read Titanomachy, which makes me feel like a fake fan. Trust me, it really does. But as I said, I didn't want design bleed, so I chose not to, and I just haven't had the time since, which sucks. Also, Scarred Lands Vigil Watch Chapter 5, the cover of which could be like an 80s heavy metal album cover. When did these? Wednesday. Everything happens on Wednesday, right. And then I've already touched on Frostlands of Fenrilik. Massive frozen tundra filled with unique creatures, dangerous weather, and deadly titan spawn. But not Scion Titan spawn. Scarred Lands Titan spawn. Which is a sizable supplement. 3 new races, 4 new subclasses, 8 new spells, as well as new monsters, and a level 1 to 3 adventure. So get hyped for that. No conventions, project updates that are relevant to this stream, sound fiction anthologies in the second draft, Anyone who's interested in Exalted Essence, which I am, because Exalted 3 is a huge book and rather intimidating, but the Essence is in development now, so that's cool. What else? What else has been updated? Nothing really has been updated. Oh, Titanomachy, obviously. I think that's really it. Obviously, I'll go back over that at the end of the show, but that's it for now. That's the Monday meeting notes gone over. So, I minimized the window. There we go. This will be the last time I'll say this, but because I've mentioned it twice now, my community content prices are going to change. Some introductory material, so whenever I have time, good grief, I need the time to finish my editing and like second draft of the Radford Estate adventure for Chronicles of Darkness. That will be free. That is designed to introduce people to the system. I'm hoping to finish it by Friday because Halloween on Saturday, but that's probably not going to happen. But introductory things will be free. So that one and the Origin adventure I wrote in season 2, which I guess it's 3 seasons on here and 2 on my own channel, which was an introduction to Scion Origin. Those will be free. Supplementary material, like the material I'm writing today, will be priced accordingly because I need to buy food, turns out. Who knew? And it'll be accordingly. It will be cheap. It won't be too expensive. I don't want to gatekeep anyone or price anyone out of the hobby, but there we go. Today we are going to be touching on Birthrights, but probably just the narrative of Birthrights, depending on how much time I have, obviously. I want to do 2 Birthrights for each category, so guide, follower, relic, creature. Not in that order, alphabetical order, obviously. But I'll be just addressing the narrative component of the Birthright. Depending on how much time is left at the end of the stream, I might start mechanically making them, but if not, I'll be doing all the mechanics off stream. But if anyone asks while I'm writing the narrative how I might do something, I'll hypothesize a way of interpreting the narrative mechanically. Anything else that isn't done on stream, so for example, the relationships with other pantheons or the primary goal of the pantheon, etc., that will all be done off stream and in the final product. So far, I don't need my notes anymore. So far, we, the collective unconscious, has created a non-mythical pantheon of literary archetypes called the Inkborn. I have really enjoyed this journey. I've enjoyed seeing where some people have said this is always the hardest part for me, or I've never found this particularly troubling. I like how people's minds work in different ways. I have a born from the minds of my text. I do. This is all first Infocalypse. Thank you for pointing that out. This is all first draft stuff. I will be going through it again, so there will be errors in the text still. This is not the final product by any stretch of the imagination. It needs formatting and obviously editing, proofreading, etc. Yes, non-mythical pantheon literary archetypes. And as wants to point it out, why thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to point it out. I appreciate you having the interest in this project to point it out. So went through the standard stuff, really, kind of a bit of background on the Pantheon, the principal members of the Pantheon, how they relate to each other, aliases for the principal members of the Pantheon, callings, purviews, why each one has each calling and purview. As an aside, the supplement ended up being much larger than I thought it would be. As an expert, someone who's an expert on Scion, I'd be interested in hearing one interpretation from narrative to mechanical speculation of a birthright. Okay, Unstable Deus, I can accommodate that. The fact that you seem to be becoming a regular on my own channel makes no difference there. But hey, I also have a Twitch channel that you can talk to me on if you're interested in TTRPG and video game things. Cosmology, Overworld, Underworld, a couple of Axis, Terra Incognitae, and I think I touched on Axis Mundi. I think I need to rename some things, but obviously this is Yeah, I didn't. I have confused myself. Curses. Either this needs to change to Axis Mundi, which I think it does. I'm pretty sure these are Terra Incognite. I need to change where it references Axis Mundi in the text to Terra Incognite. Oh wait, no. This Terra Incognite is an Axis Mundi. That's fine. This is why I try to finish trains of thought before I start new ones. Yes, this needs rewording to Terra Incognita. Or Terra Incognita. Even. Let's say technically an Axis Mundi. Many people use it as a pleasure resort instead. Nad. Those of you who are new here, my webcam shakes because I'm forced to use my laptop keyboard, and the whole desk isn't very... The desk is pretty stable, it's just the webcam's perched on things on top of the monitor, which itself isn't terribly stable. Viewed as a... Where do I keep missing out that N? Of its own, there we go. A couple of antagonists, got some titans. So there are titanic versions of each of the principal members and a twist on the usual formula of gods versus titans. 3 antagonists? Bookworm, Ghostwriter, Juvenile Kraken. My plan when Demigod comes out, there's an extra space there, isn't there? There sure is. An extra line even. When Demigod comes out, my plan is to update this with an antagonist appropriate for Demigod tier characters. And you can probably guess that when God comes out, I'll try to update it with a suitable antagonist there. It will probably be Juvenile Kraken, Mature Kraken, and Elder Kraken. But I haven't really sourced that out. But each antagonist has a bit of a narrative about like what it is, and then its things. Try to include some design notes about them as well. Religion, etc., etc. Last time we did the Pantheon Path with the Path asset skills, the Scent of Divine, kind of what it smells like and sounds like. Explanation of the virtues, Pantheon-specific purview with the motif, and the effects of the purview, which I might do some design notes in, but I think they're largely self-explanatory. Sorry, I just need to add headings here, otherwise my brain will scream at me. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at. Obviously, I have my relationships section down here, which is blank. But Birthrights today. So, I 100% forgot to open the PDFs. Whoops, please bear with me. Take this time to stretch your legs. Get a drink. Think about what a disappointment I am to you in terms of entertainment and enlightenment. Where is... Oh, there they are. That was weird. I'm going to risk Acrobat Reader, but if it crashes, I can just open them in my browser instead. It's not looking promising. There we go. Traits, Birthrights, creatures. Okay, so hopefully I've got my screen all set up so I can check chat while I'm talking about stuff. Birthrights. So Birthrights are... I should point out that the companion, I think... No. The companion Titanomachy adds cult rules as a birthright. I'm only going to be covering material that's in Hero and Origin for now. Birthrights are gifts from the gods, usually from your divine parent, but sometimes from a well-meaning relative or similar, or something that's stolen. As they are gifts from the gods, they are usually supernatural in origin. Heroes, as this is primarily aimed at origin and hero characters, have access to creatures, which are animals, usually more intelligent and adapt capable than mundane animals. Followers are exactly what they sound like. It's a group of people who will help your character. Guides are a mentor or a tutor who have access to special things, and relics are items, usually with supernatural abilities, powers, what have you. So, creatures. Let's just see what the rough kind of thing is for creatures. Any specifics that I need to bear in mind? It's been a while. The trouble with knowing a lot of rule sets is things do get not overlooked, but they do slip my mind. So I do try. I do try to refresh my memory when I'm talking about things. Obviously, anyone who writes anything will know about this. Will know this, or plays any meaningful or plays any role playing game. But it's useful to refresh your mind every now and then about the rules. So, human level intelligence is not a given. It is a discussion between the player and the story guide. It's a mythical connection making you companions, so the creature is assumed to be loyal, will fight to the death if they believe that the sign will also fight to the death for them. Communication with the creature, not assumed, and creatures are also another character in the story rather than just set dressing. So, there are rules in Hero for building creatures, which is neat. Which, if we get onto doing mechanical stuff, as Unstable Deus has requested for creatures, we can follow those. But let's go with... So, Kraken are the... the word antagonists, there we go, are antagonists for the Inkborn. They are an ambush predator. So, let's I'm just going to have a sip of my drink. And then let's go with some sort of literary creature that crops up a lot. Also kind of mythical, but not... It can already be associated with a pantheon. It doesn't have to be. Or it could be a play on words, like a pun, like with bookworm. I think I defined bookworms as mindless, so that wouldn't make a good creature. No, it would not. No, it would not. This is where everything falls down, because it's not a pantheon that lends itself to creatures, unfortunately. But I'd like to provide some examples. So let's leave creatures for now. Let's just go into followers. Run-on sentence. I like that. I will put that here. I'll put that there, and I will revisit it when we get back to creatures. Thank you, Unstable Deus. 26 segmented centipede, a letter of the alphabet on each of its segments, which is great if you don't mind centipedes, but people who do, horrifying. Unsurprisingly, largest group of followers that scions of the Inkborn can call upon are librarians. Woo, yeah. Shout out to librarians. Without libraries, I probably would not be here. I would not be the person I am today. Many centipedes, they're not millipedes, are poisonous. Do you mean poisonous or venomous? Centipedes can be rather disconcerting, all that seething chitin. Yup. Yeah, I was playing RE7 on my own stream, and there's a section where there's centipedes around the character's face, and someone who was watching kind of got squeaked out. Anyway, sounds like Inkborn can call upon are librarians, not not every librarian is a librarian. Capital L makes it very different, however. Yeah, the difference being poisonous is if you eat it, you get poisoned. Venomous is if it bites you, you get poisoned. Or envenomed, I guess. But not every librarian is a librarian, as it requires years of study and dedication to the Inkborn to I think some centipedes are also poisonous for their own protection. That would definitely make sense. Like a lot of like caterpillars and toads. It requires years of study and dedication to the Inkborn to be deemed. Venomous blight's also poisonous. Yeah, makes sense. To be deemed worthy of the title. Librarians. Librarians are a well-rounded group of I know what I want to say, but I'm having a really slow brain day, which makes it super annoying because obviously this is live on Twitch and not pre-recorded. Librarians are typically called upon to help scions with hedgehogs eat centipedes and lick their stings thereafter. Oh yeah, they get high, don't they? They do it for the effect. Librarians are typically called upon to help science with the research projects. Far greater or more complex than any one individual could hope to accomplish. On a related note, while I'm typing this, I think dolphins get deliberately sting themselves on jellyfish for the drug-induced euphoria, or venom-induced euphoria, due to the Pantheon's relatively young age and the small number of scions it can call upon. Many librarians also undergo some form of combat training to offer physical assistance when necessary. Fun fact about the word necessary. If you do struggle with spelling it, particularly the number of C's and S's, it is 1 cup and 2 sugars. That is the mnemonic I have used for years. And it really helps. Will there be pantheons within the pantheon of Thinkborn from different writers' universes? I mean, you can certainly do that in your own game, in Focalypse. I've left them as archetypes so that other writers' universes could be mantles or just aliases. But if you want to handle it that way, totally go for it. Yeah, necessary is a nasty word to spell, even as a native English speaker and writer. Librarians was the only follow-up I had planned, I'll be honest. I mean, I guess there's fans, but that's not really ideal. Could have a supernatural follower relating to the wellspring. All of the ones I can, all of the kind of like archetypes I can think of would be more a guide. Makes more sense than 2 cups and 1 sugar, exactly. But 1 C and 2 S's, 1 cup, 2 sugar. Oh gosh, yes, occurred is a horrible word. Focused always gets me, as does business. I don't know why. Anyway, supernatural follower for a pantheon based on literary archetypes. Sidekicks are a common sight. Also across. English is a silly language. You are not wrong, Scythel. Scythel. However you would prefer your name pronounced. Sidekicks are a common sight when heroes alone cannot get the job done. Formed of the potentiality present within the Whelmspring. No preference. I think you've used all three common ones so far. Cool. I'll go with Scythel. I had to Google Link's path to remind me why it sounded familiar. Oh dear. Tice the Betrayer. Why did it sound familiar? What game were you introduced to? Formed of the potentiality present within the Wellspring. Sidekicks typically live short lives before returning. Exalted 2E? Hell yeah. Exalted technically was my second Onyx Path game, I think. First being New World of Darkness, Blue Book. Sidekicks typically live short lives before returning to the void of creation from whence they came, I guess. I just say before returning to the overworld, to the Inkborn's overworld. But some last long enough to develop distinct personalities. Of their own, due to the inherent spelling is also affected by usually typing variable names in code, which greatly skews how words look. So there's specific rules about formatting which do not correspond to English rules. Oh yes, yeah. I've only dabbled in Java, and I can already sort of sympathise with that pain. Due to the greatly variable nature of the circumstances which could call for their aid, sidekicks can fulfill nearly any purpose. Where's my cursor gone? There it is. Tend to write some words with a K instead of C. It's most common in German. German uses K's where English uses C a lot. It's definitely... Yeah. I would agree with Heron Apocalypse. I have some knowledge of German as well. It's definitely systems with silly, especially coming from D&D. Yeah, exactly. I was playing D&D at the same time, and it was like it was very, very, very silly. I think D&D takes itself too seriously sometimes, but don't tell anyone I said that. Why is mouse wheel go down? There we go. Guides. When a scion of the Inknorn, that's something entirely different. I will say, ever since I hold an A level in German, which is like the qualification you get at 18 in the UK. Ever since I really started learning German, I have started using extremely long, technically correct sentences, but they don't read very well in English, unfortunately. Yeah, it should be K most of the time. But English just stole all of the letters. Anyway, when a sign of the ink button runs into a problem they cannot overcome through their own skill set, oftentimes they will be directed towards the current location of a font of inspiration. Yeah, we should. Sorry, I mean, obviously, people on YouTube can read the chat, but we should go back to having more letters in the English language. It would help vastly, incredible. It would help a lot. Let's say. You'll notice sometimes I pick words that aren't entirely grammatically correct. That's usually because I plan to continue the sentence and then my brain just hits a wall and it's like, "What were you going to say, you idiot?" So I'll try and take the grammatically incorrect thing back and convey what I was trying to say with the proper term. Oftentimes they'll be directed towards the current location of a font of inspiration. Fonts are aspects of the wellspring or the stacks that wander the world and exist to learn about it and thus increase the Inkborn's knowledge of it. I mean, I'm going to allow that message. Yeah, I read there was an interesting article I read about how your language passes, like linguistics, does actually affect how you think about the world. Apologize if you're RPG ranting. No, this is an RPG channel. But they are also happy to share their knowledge with anyone who asks them for it. I don't want another comma. I guess I'll have the parenthetical M dash, but I can't put an M dash in Google Docs, so I'll have to put the double hyphen. Provided the proper observances are carried out. So I'm trying to explain the timeline of Chronicles and World of Darkness. Well, Chronicles doesn't really have a timeline, which is the good thing. The V5 game I mentioned that I storytell, most of the meta plot's being ignored because there's just too much, and I feel like it limits what I want to do with the story too much. But if you like the meta plot, more power to you. More drink. If you weren't allowed to be judgmental of your own Germanness, who would be? Exactly. Your Germanity, if you will. I don't know. Right. Let's have something from the stacks. Relating to history. If a scion needs access to knowledge or a location long lost to the ages, they will frequently seek out archivists. Archivists are native to the stacks. That's not how you spell stacks. I think the meta plot should be something you use as optional guide, not something you slavishly follow. Would have done it full of the unknown, full of lies after all. Exactly. archivists are natives to the stacks, and let's say have access to all the knowledge held within the Inkborn's underworld. Currently looking for an interesting storyteller or 20 RPG group as COVID terminates all your pen and paper groups. Yeah, I can imagine. My in-person groups kind of suffered greatly for the first few months. We've slowly got back to stuff, but online. If you're not on the Onyx Path Discord server in Apocalypse, highly recommend it. There's a looking for group channel there, and there is a European server as well. Have access to all the knowledge held within the Inkborn's underworld. Unlike fonts, however, archivists jealously guard their knowledge. I know that's the wrong word, don't worry. I know, there's the right word. Thanks for the info. I see what you did there and I approve. Nightbot drops a link to it every now and then in the Twitch chat. Unlike fonts, however, archivists jealously guard their knowledge. And usually only gift it to scions who gain their respect or who make a trade of equal worth. And relics. So, relics. I had one idea for a relic, and then we'll see where we go from there. There you go. You can prompt it. How to word this? Inkborn scions who show great worthiness are sometimes entrusted. Never miss a pun, even if it's bad. Hey, you've got to make all the bad ones to make the good ones, right? Sometimes entrusted with chapters from the Book of Fate. Book as a whole. Nope, not Fate. Not Fate. Destiny. The book as a whole chronicles the lives of everyone who has ever lived and can be used to find anything given enough time. In individual chapters, however, individual chapters, comma, however, comma, can only convey information about people the scion is familiar with. Can still be used to say gain access to secrets. Does the Book of Destiny extend to real people? Do fictional people also exist in it? For the purposes of this, I would probably say only real people. I might have to rename it to Fate, but I just wanted to steal Destiny of the Endless's book. Gain access to secrets that no one else could know, but retaining knowledge of the most hidden, of the most hidden truths is not always easy. Mechanically, it'd be like a complication to remember certain things. Rather than every one, let's say every being. And rather than lived, let's say existed. Okay, I apologize if the microphone picked up the sound of me drinking. It is a hella sensitive mic. So it looks like I'll have time to maybe do all the mechanical things. So that'd be great. I need another relic. I want to take a step back from the book theme. A lot of these are book themed for obvious reasons, but there is more to the Inkborn than just books. There's more to, as much as it pains me to admit, there is more to life than just books. A muse, perhaps? Yes. Can still tie in, so, like, a quill. Yeah, there are comic books too. German isn't as good at making puns as English is. Well, that's because German is so remarkably precise. So I'm just still laughing at the there are comic books too. Anyway, so yes, amuse. Some scions are gifted. I need a really grandiose name for this. All of the things I can think of, Superman certainly is an Inkborn god. Oh, most likely. All of the things I can think of are. I mean, to be fair, like the Kraken's in another book. I could just take ideas from another pantheon. Superman could easily be the Guardian, the Traveler. Well, the Traveler's more about death than Superman is. Anyway, yes. Phoenix doesn't work. Rock doesn't work. Could just go with a mundane bird. To the internet. But I won't capture it because that, you'll see my browser tabs and stuff. What just happens if I type in birds and ink? Exactly what you would expect. So I'm trying to find a bird, the feather of which could serve as a magical muse. Please get out of here with the New Age stuff. I want bird symbolism. And albatross isn't bad for the journeys and the transmission. Blackbirds and crows, obviously relating to magic. Oh, it's not bad, actually. Goose Quill for the historical link, yes. Corvids for what? Oh, Corvids are usually associated, certainly in like Western magical traditions, have some associations with magic, and intuition and like third eyes and things. Not all magical traditions, obviously, but oh, how about the mockingbird or the minor bird? Any bird that can speak. Nightingale would work, yeah. I won't step away from owls because of Athena and ravens because of Odin. I don't know why I pronounced it that way. Um, hmm. Oh. Hang on 1 second. I have an idea. I don't know how well it'll work. But I need to check something. Parrots are smart. Parrots are very smart. Where is it? I don't want the poem. Maybe a feather of the Jub Jub bird? Of course, the peacock. Well, the peacock, yeah, Hera. The Jub Jub bird being from the poem about the Jabberwocky and Alice's adventures through the Looking Glass and what Alice found there. A desperate bird that lives in perpetual passion. Ooh, a dodo. Actually, dodo is even a better idea. Dodo it is. Dodo Featherquill. Whilst long extinct in the world. Too many DOs there. Dodos still live in certain terra incognitae, and their status as a technically extinct species has given the still living birds a unique connection to the underworlds of all the pantheons. Anyone who performs a specific ritual that culminates with the writing of a question using one of these quills may draw upon the collected knowledge all of the dead to answer that question truthfully. Going back to the knowledge theme again. The book treats it as terra incognitae, as in worlds unknown, with incognita being pluralized, I think. I don't know. I don't actually speak Latin. I think the book's pluralized the incognita bit, though. That's now making me doubt myself. But happily, I can look at this while my brain processes how to reword what I've just written to make it into what I want it to say. Then the book is wrong. The book may be wrong. Maybe. But I'm sticking with the language of the book. Anyone who performs a specific ritual culminates with the writing of a sentence asking for aid using one of these calls may draw upon the collective knowledge of all the dead to temporarily learn a new skill. There we go. That turns it to more of a muse thing. Not with the first. Okay, back to creatures. So, run on sentence. A horror to some. Centipedes are arthropods, right? I've gone from searching the Jabberwocky to centipede. Load, please. I need the genus. I want to sound smart to people reading this text. Right, anyway, that's not load up. No, it's loading. Yeah, arthropods, cool. The run-on sentence is a 26 segmented, say, arthropod with. Sometimes it's a language thing. Like, do you want to know what the plural of canon is? Hey, the plural of canon is canon. It irrationally bothers me when people put canons. Is an arthropod. Let's say horse-sized. Dog-sized. There we go. Arthropod with 26 segments. Prowls the stacks in constant search of food. Whilst, what did I call them? What did I call them? I'll just say inhabitants. Whilst the inhabitants oh yeah, I know in American English canons is the more common pluralization, don't worry. It's just a dialectical thing. So the run sentence generally avoids creatures larger than it. It can be trained and used as a faithful can be trained as a faithful companion. I was like that of the World from Masquerade Versus from Arcavian book. Can't think of an analog, but it would be an appropriate antagonist here if you could think of an equivalent. I've got a bookworm that destroys knowledge. It can be trained as a faithful companion. As a general rule, Run on sentence. It's good. You must have missed the bookworm. Oh, it was last week. Last stream. As a general, the run on sentence prefers to eat bookworms. Yep. Bookworm being a misnomer because it's actually a gastropod, but there we go. Prefers to eat bookworms and other creatures that consume knowledge, gaining the information its meal, its prey have devoured during the digestion process. Its name comes both from its speed and its tendency to speak in run on sentences. Nope, there we go. Run on sentences whenever, let's say whenever they can be coaxed into speech. Larger than they are. They can be trained. Their prey. Their name. Their speed. And their tendency to speak around sentences whenever they can be coaxed into speech. For real though, dog-sized centipede. That'd be pretty cool. That'd be pretty cool. Like the bookworm idea. By the way, if you could eradicate something by not removing any of it and all information about it. Exactly. That was where I was going. That's what inspired my idea. And the pun. I liked the pun also. I'm not going to lie about that. I guess the dodo would make sense, but I don't want. They're already mentioned, so it's kind of assumed that they exist. Now I'm thinking like of ghosts and things, but those would be followers and guides more than creatures. I've got bookworm. Run on sentence. I mean, I guess I could just put immature kraken, but kind of like why? That also limits it to you'd have to carry a bowl of water around with you. Ankhenaten. The great monotheism experiment in ancient Egypt. Actually, I guess that kind of, if you are interested in Zion and the mythology inspiring it, highly recommend researching Ankhenaten. Ankhenaten, who tried to go from worship of the Netja to worship of the Aten, a singular sun god. Quite an interesting time in Egyptian history. Carnivorous plant which fires letters at things. Ooh, I like that. Monster Book of Monsters. Oh, okay. I'm going to type this out to see if this works as a written, pun. Bestiary, like bestiary, but a tree. Yes, Tutankhamun was his son. Good morning, Plastic Age Plays. I tried to pimp Frostlands of Fenrilic as much as I could at the start of the stream, and you know I'm going to do it at the end of the stream. Does bestiary work? Like bestiary, but a tree? I'm going to try and gauge chat's reaction to this before I continue along this line of thinking. It works? Cool. Unbold. Yeah, like bestiary, but a tree instead of a book. The bestiary tree is a sapient tree. Although its conversation... let's have a humorous aside. Skills leave something to be desired. That exists for the sole purpose of consuming and categorizing all life forms. The result of a drunken night's labors by a long forgotten mantle of the creator. The bestiary tree is carnivorous and its leaves contain biological information of every meal it has ever eaten. Typically used as a guard plant, which is a sentence I never thought I'd write, but as a hobby in general, TTRPGs do produce lots of things you never thought you'd write or say. Should be omnivorous, not carnivorous. Do you qualify plants as life forms? While this conversation is happening, I will continue. Yes? Okay. In which case... I thought life had, like, the qualifiers about the certain things it had to do and plants don't qualify. I don't know. It's been a while. Well, omnivorous is eats everything. Carnivorous is only eats meat. It's the distinction. Okay. I stand corrected. As I say, I'm having a weird brain day as well. Plants do, minerals don't. Okay, cool. I don't know everything. I'm always learning. I've always assumed when people are talking about all life forms, they ignore plants. So that's on me. That was an assumption I made. Please feel free to challenge my assumptions. We can't grow as people if our assumptions aren't challenged. Okay, right, well. Bestiary tree is an obligate carnivore. Typically used as a guard plant, again, that clause. Life has a complex, non-all-encompassing definition. That is true. That is true. This self-improvement has completely thrown my train of thought, though. Are capable of limited mobility. Require an iron-rich soil. Usually gained through the spilling of blood. And prefer to weaken their prey via lashing it with their razor-sharp leaves if we're using a cluster of roots even, to drag the creature, to drag the meal into its malleable trunk. So because it's a tree, it has a trunk, has a single, I think a tree has that single kind of bark covered stem, whereas a bush has many. Or something like that. Anyway. I think it also grows up rather than in any direction. However, that leaves us 40 minutes, half an hour with the 10 minutes of outro. Which means Unstable Dales gets to see the mechanical things happening. As Unstable Dales made the request, do they have a preference where I start? Creatures, followers, guides, or relics? Again, I already just want to see the process. Okay, I'll start with creatures. Again, thank you very much for the civilized, intelligent chat happening. Okay, so much like everything else, everything in this uses a dot rating. Just checking what template I will need if I will need to create one, or if I will need to create one. Sorry. There's a lot of text to read here. Yes. Okay, so I think we'll have the run-on centipede. All the best to you, keep it work. Thank you. Actually, the run-on sentence is a centipede. Do you want me to put a sentence? If I put it like senti-ents, typing this out would be better. So if I put it like this, does that work as a visual pun, or should I just leave it as a run-on sentence? Discuss while I read this. See, that's just run-on sentence, which is something else, to my mind, at least. Because it's still pronounced a sentence with weird inflection. Yes, so let's have a 2 dot for the run on. You think sentence will confuse? Okay, that's fine. Works for me. I just wanted to check to tie it in with the centipedal thing. Okay, I just punched my desk. Okay, I'm going to have to go to the example creatures here. Where are the example creatures? Where is it? Where is it? Page 249. Because I'm going to have to make my own template, which is annoying, but there we go. Well, that wasn't the right page. 294, not 249. I can't read. It's far better in conversation than in print. Yeah, that's what I suspected. That is what I suspected. Alright, these aren't really creatures though, book. These are more just antagonists. So that's 9 dots in its primary pool. Okay, so they seem to be the rival template for 3 dots. So how many? 6 dice in the primary pool. What do I have a template with 6 dice in the primary pool? Centerpiece? It's run on Centerpiece isn't really a thing though. Right, that didn't work. Oh, I guess the monster archetype has 11. No, that's wrong. Hang on 1 second. I need to check some archetypal things so I know what rough template to go for. Because all it says is they have a primary pool. They have primary pools, and that's it. That's all they leave it to. All they leave it as. Leave it. Jesus, why can't I speak anymore? Okay, that. I think I know roughly what I'm going with. Okay, so. Creature, 2 dots, which gives it 6 dice in its primary pool, or which gives them 6 dice in their primary pool. And then it doesn't say anything else about other pools, so that's annoying. So we're kind of winging it at this point. Examples have been provided in Chapter 6 story guiding. Unless it's way at the end of the antagonist's block, which is possible. I feel like the sentence saying that there are examples provided is a holdover from an earlier version of the rules. Because there aren't any example creatures in that chapter. That's likely. Yeah. From everything I've read, that seems very like they've provided the page reference for the example antagonists, which is great. But from everything I've read, there's a lot of legacy language. I was looking for because the rules mention primary pools, but never anything about health or secondary pools. Now I can extrapolate from origin archetypes roughly what those values would be, which is what I'm going to have to do here. So I need this PDF where I can see it. So unfortunately, I won't be able to see chat while I type this out. But I'm just going to copy the template and then get rid of certain things from the template. It doesn't really need qualities or drives because it's not an antagonist. Primary pool of 6, and let's say 4 and 3. Health of 1. That's a 2. Initiative of 3. So run on sentence. Creature tutor. Primary pool. Scuttle. Pounce. Let's give it some secondary pools. Track. And so I want to use something that like you don't have to do. I do entirely because it suits my sense of cohesion. Let's just go up here for example. So with the bookworm, these are obviously one-word things, and as I'm doing with the the run-on sentence. These are one-word descriptors to describe what it can do. With the ghostwriter, they're still short, but they're more complex in terms of concept or ideas. And then the Kraken, I was trying to lean into the horror theme, but the phrasing, the length of word, so like syllable count, what have you, of the descriptors I'm choosing for the pools, I'm trying to use those themselves to convey something about the creature. So like all of these are designed to be like, this thing is terrifying because it's smart, there are too many tentacles, it will hide, etc. Whereas the bookworm and the run-on sentence are maybe not entirely mindless, but they are driven by singular needs: consume, dig, flee, frighten, scuttle, pounce, track. Let's have climb. It's just something I like to do because I'm that kind of person. I like to use all of the tools available to me to convey what this thing is like. I can write design notes as long as I need to write. I can write design notes as long as they need to be, but show, don't tell. That's the attitude. That's the kind of the old writing cliche. Okay, so centipede, constant search of food. It scuttles, it pounces really well. Sort of climbs and tracks pretty well. Everything else is desperation pool, health, defense, initiative, or a crib of the mook and professional archetype from Origin. So has the health of a mook, but the slightly higher defense of a professional to represent like armor and stuff. I could give it a quality, but it doesn't really have. You can sacrifice dice from pools to give it qualities and flares, but I don't think it needs to. I'll probably do that with the bestiary. Yeah, I don't think that even particularly needs a design note because it's kind of all in that paragraph. So creature design's going to be the least kind of enlightening because it's pretty straightforward. Let's do a 3-dot creature. So 3-dot creatures. So I will read the text for you so you know what I'm using to make my decisions based upon. 2-dot creature may be a large and mundane creature such as tiger, crocodile, wolf, or dangerous bird of prey. Likewise, it could also represent weaker mythological creatures or a variety of nature spirits. Whereas the 3-dot creature possesses modest powers such as a hellhound, golem, or nightmare steed, or pegasus. I don't think it's on par of a manticore, which is a 4-dot creature. And basilisks and sphinx are 5-dot creatures. So I'm going to go with a 3-dot creature for the bestiary. Where's my cursor gone? There it is. Again, qualities and drives not really needed. I'll probably leave extras there. So this is a 3-dot creature. Play creatures have 9 dots in their primary pool. So the closest equivalent I've got is a villain, which is a bit high. So what I will do... Whoops. I suppose I could also check the companion, actually, to see if there are further rules. But from reading it, from what I remember reading it, I don't believe there to be. Obviously, if anyone can point me towards anything further, that would be great. I don't need Wikipedia open anymore. I can sacrifice 2 dots for antagonist, knack, or flair. Excellent. That's still not opening, so let's just open it in the browser, because that's a thing that I remember I can do this week. It's not opening in the browser. My browser has in fact crashed. Trying to open the PDF. Cool, wonderful. Oh, now it's open. Right, bookmarks. That's Pantheon stuff. That's relic stuff. Yes, there's nothing applicable there. Just seeing if there are any actual further guidelines about creature creation. Co-working on some sign yourself at the moment. Hell yeah. You're gonna know more than I do eventually. Anyway, so yes, primary pool. That's not the window I want. That's the window I want. So the primary pool has 9 dice apparently. Let's tone it down from villain though, because again, they're not supposed to be that strong. Go to a primary pool of 9 dice. Secondary pool of 3. Desperation pool of 3. These are the professional stats. Health of 2. Give it the villain defense of 3. And an initiative of 5. Actually, it's a tree. No, give it an initiative of 5. And then extras, it moves so slowly. Again, this is not terribly smart. Antagonist entries an origin hero enough, unless you have a copy of Titanomachy. I do, but from my flick through of it, because I haven't read it to avoid design bleed. There it is. Because there's a difference between antagonists and creatures, I think. Appendix. Collateral. Birthright. Oh no, they're all creatures. Even better. So. 975336 for the 3-dot creature. Well, that's just the dice pool of a villain. Okay. Because I didn't think to look in Titanomachy for Birthrights for some reason. That's on me. I do still have to guess at the 2-dot though. So I guess I'll leave it at that for now. You have no idea what's in it. I will tell you what is in it. There are 1, 2, 3. There are 4 birthrights. 4 creatures. Sorry. God, that Nymphstagram joke is so good every time. Anyway, but they are 3 and 4-dot birthrights. I think that's a 5th. I can't count. Well, I can count, obviously, but it's very small text. I can't be bothered to zoom in right now. So that being said, let's raise this in line. Let's raise the run-on sentence in line with that. So 336 is kind of slightly weaker than a villain. So this will be slightly weaker than a professional. So I think 224 will work for the run-on sentence. Right, so back to what I was doing. Thank you again, Plastic Age Plays, for that inspired suggestion. But hey, if you don't have a copy of Titanomachy, it comes out on Wednesday. Anyway, primary pool. Again, consume, but categorize meal. You live to serve. Excellent. Trying to go with like a feeling of this thing is capable of speech. It is sapient, but it isn't. How to phrase this? It's driven by clinical curiosity. Like, yes, it has to eat, but its creation, the very fact of its, like, the very reason for it to be is because it has to categorize, it has to do certain things. It doesn't do these because it wants to, it has to. Categorize meal and I guess it would be about hiding. Blend in with houseplants. Perfect camouflage. Is there a U? I think there's a U, right? Yeah, there is. Secondary pool. It won't move very fast. That'd be desperation. Oh, I guess ensnare prey. Right. It should probably have something to do with the actual act of being a carnivorous plant. And also, let's go with... Does it camouflage with the idea of what it's hiding itself in? Yes, that's the way I was envisaging it. Because it is a thinking tree, it can... I'll put that in a design note. You know, while I'm thinking about it, as the bestial tree is capable of thought, it can blend in with almost any vegetation that it finds itself among. Oh, wait, that'll just be an extras. There we go. Doesn't need to be a design thing. Just put it there. Ensnare prey and... maybe something to do with relaying its information. That's not how you spell that word at all. Scientific discourse. Its capacity for speech is also linked to... no. It's also restricted to discussions regarding prey it has fully digested. Right, let's see if there are any appropriate flares or antagonist knacks for it. I don't think there are, but it says antagonist knacks, but that's what qualities are. Oh, actually, there is an armor-based one that I recall, if I recall correctly. They might kind of natural weaponry, but like the whole thing attacks. Sorry, I'm desperately reading things as quickly as I can. Where's the don't need legendary creatures. Oh, maybe life drain. Yeah, let's give it life drain. So Primal Pool drops down to 7, but it has the heroic quality life drain. As it feeds upon its prey gets weaker. What about the prey wants to digest? Oh, the prey wants to digest, it just attacks. Like, it can't blend in with that. It just appears like a tree until it attacks. It appears as a tree, sorry, until it attacks. Until it attacks, and then it's very obviously something quite disturbing. Right, followers are pretty simple from what I recall. Followers get tags, yes. A short phrase for to sum them up. So we've got highly trained librarians. And this will be a... No, let's just say it's a one-dot follower. So consultant, they help with mental stuff. Oh, they help in the mental arena, which is, you know, knowledge. And they have the... I guess helpful tag. Oh, hang on. No, they're going to have to be more than one dot because I want it to be more than one librarian. Let's have a 2 dot. And then it is tags, group, and helpful. So, followers, you give a short phrase to describe what they can do, and they can, like a path, shall we say. So, librarians. Highly trained and resourceful. So you give them a short phrase which describes what they can do within that kind of thing, like I say, like a path. They have an archetype, which is what area of the game they can help with. So in this case, consultant. And they have tags, which are things that they can do. So they can have another archetype. They can be a group. So rather than one person, they're a group of 5 to 10. They can be a mob, which replaces groups. So they can be 20 to 50. Groups can do multiple things a turn, and there are of course other tags. So a group, as I say, means that these librarians are a group of 5 to 10 librarians, and helpful means that in any how to phrase this, any complex action in which they could help, you gain an additional interval to complete it. So you gain an additional kind of attempt to get the milestones. Followers are pretty... sorry. Followers to perhaps allow it to communicate with others to arrange for it to get access to prey. Ooh, no, that's a good idea. Okay, no. It is able to speak, but uses this ability primarily to trade knowledge of to trade its knowledge for access to new meals. Does that work? Hope that works. And then psychics. Let's say this is a 3 dot. Apparently I like 2 and 3 dot birthrights. Sidekick. Always willing to go. I like that. It's like a carnivorous library of Alexandria, the real one. Exactly. Thank you for the idea on Stable Deus. You have enriched what I created. Archetype varies depending on the need. And then tags. You get one tag per dot. So I've got 3 tags. That was the wrong PDF. Let's go with again an additional archetype. but I'm not going to specify which one because it varies depending on the need. This is a singular individual, so it is not a group or a mob. They would not have access to anything. Let's give them the helpful tag and defensive. So they can act in 2 arenas to help. They can add an extra interval while they help. And defensive increases their defense by 1, or if they're in like a social intrigue, if they're in an intrigue, or if you're trying to block someone from investigating you, they can add 1 to the difficulty of opposed actions to kind of track you down or whatever. How are we on? Hey, look, the Library of Alexandria exists. It is, in fact, terra incognita for the Inkborn. So there we go. I brought it back. I brought it back. So those are the followers. You know what? For my own peace of mind, let's get some formatting going on here. That was the wrong heading. Whoops. Sorry, bear with me while I do this. Okay, so guides. Guides are pretty much the same again. Pick a dot rating. Assign some stuff to it. Guide is both a character and a resource. Story guide may not give a guide real characteristics and what it expects. Where is it? By default, a guide has the following elements. Right, so I need a template. I need to make a template here. Bear with me. Asset skills. Benefit and guide stunt. Each dot above 2, the guide also gains one of the following elements. Purview, calling, legendary title. Yes. Well, I don't think that's going to happen, at least for the font of inspiration. So, where are we? I believe there was an example for like how many dots are worth what. Okay, so let's have the font of inspiration be a 1 dot. Guide, just so that there are some 1 dot things here. Font of inspiration. Asset skill is culture. If you go to a guide for help, for any role that uses their asset skill, you gain access to their stunt. Pretty much what it says on the tin. The more dots a guide has, the more asset skills it has also. But as this is a 1 dot guide, it has a single skill, and it will have a stunt that you can access by using the guide. Let's also give access to what are examples of benefits for 1 dots? The font of inspiration can usually direct the scion towards the nearest academic library and grant them entry without membership. And then guide's done. Let's just have like 1 to 3 successes, because I think that's the general standard anyway. Yes, it is. Cool. So, guide's done. 103 successes. I don't think anyone can roll that high at this level anyway. 1, 2, 3 successes. So let's say it's going to be enhancement on a roll. Gain enhancement to the next equal to the successes spent. To the next culture roll you make relating to the same topic. Before the end of, what's the wording? What's the wording in the book? I guess scene. Yeah, let's go scene. Let's say end of the next scene though. So the font of inspiration is, in theory, hopefully the narrative implies that they're there to help people without providing all of the answers. So they can direct people towards the library where a scion can research for themselves about the project. But the font of inspiration will happily provide kind of the springboard, if you will, to a deeper understanding of the subject, however temporary that springboard may be. So I need to tweak this slightly, but that's what I'm trying to get across here. To provide a hang on, even better, to share a fraction of their knowledge when I ask them for it, provided the proper observances are carried out and the scion is willing to use that fraction as the basis for further research. Farther? No! I mean, that's distance further, but further research. My experience providing a direction and giving the answer often confused. A gameplay issue, but an issue nonetheless. Yeah, I mean, I come across this a fair amount, and largely it's down to miscommunication, I think. Obviously, your mileage may vary, and there may be other reasons for it. I have just noticed the time. Hoo boy. So, I appreciate today's been a bit weird. I've been having a real problem with mental health at the minute, and my ability to clearly and concisely convey my aims about something has struggled because of it. But I hope it's been mildly interesting. I have to do the outro now, alas. So everything else will be done off stream. I will, of course, I am available on Twitter and Twitch, same name, Comrade Bubbles. If you have any lingering questions, I will be streaming on my own channel in about half past, I should say. If you do want to follow me over there and chat about things, thank you, Plastic Age Plays. I do apologise again for today's distraction. I've been really struggling, and some things do suffer. I'm always happy to talk about how narrative things become mechanical, as long as I know the system. Obviously, if I don't, it's going to be awkward. But narrative to mechanical will be driving what I do next on this show. So I mentioned that at the start that the Monday meeting notes, good place to go for updates, but they talk about the continuing success of the Ghost Hunters World of Darkness 20th anniversary book, system agnostic. There are 4 days left, and it's nearly 3 times funded, so that's pretty cool. More stretch goals have been announced, but of more relevance to the show, on Wednesday, on top of Vigil's Guide Part 5, which again, that cover just looks like a heavy metal album cover, the Frostlands of Fenric supplement for Scarredlands is released, and that's what I'll be doing next. I'm pretty sure, I was saying pretty sure, I have planned, let's say. I have actually put thought into this. I'll be doing a subclass for each class, so, each class in the OGL, anyway. Themed around Fenric, but you'll be able to use them in other Scarredlands locations. But subclasses for 5e material are extremely linked to narrative, in my mind anyway, of like the narrative you want to tell of that subclass. So if you are interested in how you take narrative to mechanical in 5e games, please do check that out. Hopefully I can enlighten you, and that so from previous experience, I can knock out 3 subclasses in a 2-hour stream, because I did that on my stream for my Patreon. So that won't be the entire season. I could be tempted to make monsters. I like making monsters, let's face it. Yeah, we'll see though. And spells are always a good time. And subclass creation sometimes necessitates spell creation anyway. So it'll be a sort of comprehensive overview of a way that you could approach 5e OGL material creation. But thank you everyone for watching. I'm going to hand it over to the post roll, where you can see all of the good stuff that's happening. Something every day this week, apart from Saturday. And you'll have to wait a week to watch this if you are not subscribed to the channel. And if you are, and you want to watch the beginning of the stream, thank you. I appreciate the support. I think that's everything. Links, Kickstarter, like upcoming. Oh, also Tatanamaki's out on Wednesday if you don't have it and want to pick it up, both PDF and print on demand. That's pretty hype. I think that's everything. So I'll see you all in 2 weeks. Please be good to the channel. Please be kind to everyone else on the stream, on the channel, I guess. And again, thank you to Onyx Path for the platform. Thank you to everyone for watching, and hopefully you all, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in 2 weeks.